예.
So come on to the top.
Yeah. Ui, gue là đi First time gue là đi so nice. Hả? Nó là em hay là chi phí nữa sao?
Good afternoon, lecturers and friends. Today, my brother and I are going to present our research report. To begin our presentation, let me introduce myself. My name is Lee Gray, and we are members Priya, Leon, Yunjang, Ao, and Julie. For this project, we have to choose a business in two different geographical locations. Our first business is located in Puchong Jinara, Klang Valley, and another business is located in Ipoh Barat. Our selected business is local Chinese coffee shop, which is also known as Coffee Gang. I will expand on the definition, brief history, and the timeline of this business. First, let me explain what does a word coffee gang means. The word coffee gang is derived from the Malay word for coffee, and yang, which is from the Hokkien language, which refers to a shop. When they are placed together, the phrase literally refers to the meaning of a coffee shop. A coffee gang is a combination cross between a coffee shop and a breakfast restaurant. Coffee gangs are usually found in Southeast Asia, countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Coffee gangs usually have a short menu of different dishes, but the choice of food that are constantly present in the menus are tea, toasted bread, soft-boiled eggs, and also the coffee. Well, where are these Chinese coffee gangs come from? The origin of coffee gangs are closely related to the Hainanese migrants. They came to Southeast Asia in the 1850s. At that time, Chinese migrants, the other Chinese migrants such as Hokkien and Chuzhou were well-rooted and taken most of the lucrative trades. Therefore, the Hainanese people had to fight the other employment and job opportunity. Soon, the Hainanese people discovered a niche for themselves in the service sector. Primarily, it's called as the food and beverage sector. Later, the coffee industry became a successful boom, following by the Hainanese involvement. In fact, the Hainanese community has been credited with introducing Kopitiam culture to Malaysia and Singapore. Nowadays, local coffee shop can be divided into two types, namely the traditional kopitiams and the modern kopitiams. The traditional kopitiams embrace the feeling of culture and tradition. Their secret of coffee making are using sock strainer. This makes the coffee more smoother and smells good. Besides that, the traditional coffee shops are usually open early in the morning around 6 to 7 o'clock, and the owner usually befriends with the customers. Whereas the modern kopitiams is also known as branded coffee houses. It retains some classic elements from the traditional elements such as white mirrors, wooden round tables and chairs, and the patterned floor and wall tiles. Additionally, they have a menu with wide variety. Good afternoon to one and all. My name is Shreya Wilson, and today I'm going to be talking about the brief description about the selected place in Klang. Restaurant Jing Kwan is a Chinese kopitiam owned by Mr. Chong and his wife who have been running this business for the past 13 years. To continue, the shop's location. It is located in a prime area. It is situated right in the center, surrounded with many residential and primary schools. So they want to target, the main audience they want to target is the Chinese residents who live around that area. Moving on, since every business has its motive, this too has one. Before Mr. Chong started off with the kopitiam business, he used to work in a factory, but what he earned didn't satisfy their basic needs. Thus, he decided to change his career. The next hurdle they faced was that since he and his wife didn't have any skills, it was very difficult for them to find a job. Thus, they decided to open their own kopitiam shop. Before he started the business, he sought help from his relative who had superior knowledge in this field. The rest of the skills he mastered through observing other kopitiams and how they function. After the whole training period, he started selling drinks and snacks, but he had planned something big in his mind. He decided to rent the rest of the area to the other hawker stalls, but this was not the end. Since kopitiam is more of a day business, he decided to rent the area at night to a Chinese restaurant to increase the land's productivity. Now moving to the products. Since it's a local coffee house, their main products are coffee, bread, steamed buns, and small dim sum dishes. For Mr. Chong, his main concern was the taste and the quality of the products. Since that helps him decide his success in his business. So what he did is he sought help from his regular customers to set the quality and the pricing of the products. He believes that his customers are the valuable assets of the business, and if they are happy and satisfied, so is he. Moving on to the hawker stalls. There are about 10 hawker stalls present in that area. They are free to choose the product they want to sell and at what price. The only criteria they have to fulfill is that the foreign workers can't control the stalls by themselves. The owner has to supervise them and be there at all times. Last but not the least, when we asked Mr. Chong about his future plans for his business, he suggested that he's planning to sell his business to another person who's more interested, like who can continue the business well and who wants to venture into the kopitiam business. That's all. Thank you.
Right, so hi Miss. And now I'm going to bring to you the brief description of our subject of study in EPO, the kopitiam Hill View. Hill View is founded by Mr. Lo Kong Bin, who's age 48, and his wife. Hill View has been in operation for 10 years since its conception in 2005. The kopitiam is Chinese style. which means that it focuses on mainly selling beverages and small snacks. For the most substantial meals, they are sold by stall hawkers, which rents the shop space. And Hillview's business style, they capitalize on the peak hours, which are the breakfast and lunch hours, and closes as soon as it's over. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the contextual study and the location of Hillview. Hillview is located at Songshun Garden at the very edge, and yeah, it faces a main road, which is the Jalan Dr. Nazrun Shah. It connects from downtown Ipoh to the highways. And opposite the road, there's a tourist destination which brings a moderate amount of tourists to Mr. Lowe's business. And behind the shop, they examined that there's a newly developed residential area. And they confirmed that it will bring in a new influx of customers. Right, so the main products of this business are bread, tea, coffee, and boiled eggs. There are 4 stalls during daytime. They are mainly of Malaysian Chinese cuisine, and this was done to appeal to the local residents. And they are the curry mee stall, the pan mee stall, the wonton mee stall, and the chicken rice stall. The most popular are the curry mee stall, and it is most known for its exceptional taste, and it is one of the main key factors to maintaining customer loyalty to Mr. Lowe's business. Customers are mainly local residents and senior citizens, and it has approximate amount of 300 customers per day. It is considerably lower than its competitor, Little Ipoh, but mostly due to shop size. And yeah, it's how this business began. Mr. Lowe before stepping into this business, Mr. Lowe was a transportation worker, and he relies on very unstable pace and very unstable shifts to earn money. So he decided to make a transition in life. So he heard from the rumors that the kopitiam business is very lucrative, so he decided to give it a try. And as he and his wife had not any particularly sharpened skills, he decided that operating a F&B business would be very simple, would be very earning. And the business, he bought it from a previous owner for 20K, yeah. It is considerably lower than the market price because the previous business, it is in a quite bad situation. So the previous owner, he decided to bail out. Yeah, and that is a brief description of the kopitiam.
So now I'm going to talk about comparative analysis of the kopitiam situated in Klang Valley. So our kopitiam in Klang Valley is restaurant Jinchuan. Jinchuan is located in a residential area known as BK2. However, it is surrounded by 2 residential areas, BK2 and BK3. Therefore, restaurant Jinchuan caters the needs of the residents in these 2 residential areas. After our analysis, we found that there are 4 competitors of restaurant Jinchuan, namely restaurant Ling Lam and restaurant Puchong Batu 40, Yong Tau Fu in BK2, also Cafe Shop Kopitiam and restaurant Amir and Son in BK3. So first of all, restaurant Ling Lam is considered the main competitor of restaurant Jinchuan, mostly because it is well established 10 years before restaurant Jinchuan. Moreover, this shop is also located at the corner of the shop lot, so the customers can actually notice this shop easily. This shop has a lot of customer loyalty before restaurant Jinchuan ventured into the kopitiam market. As such, they sell a lot of hawker stalls and a lot of hawker foods, and the most famous being fried kway teow and Penang prawn mee. The second competitor is restaurant Puchong Batu 40, Yong Tau Fu. As the name suggests, they sell Yong Tau Fu, which is a traditional Chinese Hakka food. This shop is kind of weird as a sense that it only opens its shop at 10 a.m. Where the customers are not usually around, they open the shop at 10 a.m. As such, customer flow in this shop is quite low, and then they don't really have a very good business. The third competitor is Cafe Shop Kopitiam. It is located 500 meters away from restaurant Jinchuan. However, it is also a main competitor in the sense that it sells Western style dishes rather than traditional kopitiam dishes. The food sold there are pasta, chicken chops, fish and chips, and etc. Moreover, this shop is well air conditioned and provides Wi-Fi connections, so the customers can actually enjoy their meals in a quiet and serene environment.
Okay, now I'll begin to explain the competitors in Hillview Restaurant. Hillview Restaurant is located in Hala Medan Agenda 1, Ipoh, Perak. This area has a strong competition. Strong competition amongst local coffee shops. Among local coffee shops, as they are situated close to one another. However, there are three distinct competitors. The first being restaurant Kimlai, the second restaurant The Little Ipoh, the third being Kedai Makanan Taman Songchun. The first competitor, restaurant Kimlai. Restaurant Kimlai is located at the corner lot. And why is it a competitor of restaurant Hillview? Is because both of them are situated side by side each other. Although the style of businesses is the same, but the food sold is different. Moreover, the number of hawker stalls sold is much more higher than Hillview restaurants. And they are longer established, they are well established longer than Hillview restaurant, and thus they have a better customer loyalty. The second competitor will be restaurant The Little Ipoh. Restaurant The Little Ipoh is also situated at the corner lot. They are open on 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, which is much more longer than restaurant Hillview. The food sold here is much more variety than restaurant Hillview, mainly Chinese dishes and Indian dishes. As for the size of the restaurant, it is of course much more bigger than restaurant Hillview, and therefore they can accommodate more tables and chairs to allow more customers to enjoy their meals. And it is also widely known that restaurant The Little Ipoh had applied the use of publicity and advertising through social media and online food reviews to attract their customers. The third competitor would be Kedai Makanan Taman Songchun. Songchun is located a few blocks away from restaurant Hillview, and it is also similar to restaurant Little Ipoh, located at the corner lot, and thus they have a bigger interior space, and also they can accommodate more customers. And the number of hawker stalls sold here is also much more higher than restaurant Hillview, mainly but it is mainly Chinese dishes, which is dim sum, bak kut teh, and many more.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the competition strategies used by restaurant Jinchuan to actually compete with its competitors. First of all, it's actually quality of service. Mr. and Mrs. Chong value their customers as if they are their friends and family. They always conduct casual conversations with them to actually know what's going on with them, and then to create a stronger bond between them. For them, the customers are actually a valuable asset of the business. As such, they will do whatever it can to please the customers so that it makes them feel at home. One very good example is that if the owners are going out and then they won't be running their business, they will actually paste notices on the walls of the premise to actually notify their customers when will be the off days of their business. This is to prevent causing trouble to the customers who are actually loyal to come to the shop every day. Secondly, the pricing. Mr. and Mrs. Chong actually conduct research on the price of the products in the market before they actually set the price of their products. This is because they are very well aware of the consequences of the prices on the emotions of their customers. Since the implementation of GST on their price has gone up, and then the customers are actually unsatisfied at the very beginning. However, when they compare the price of the products in restaurant Jinchuan and restaurant Linglam, which is their main competitor, they found that the price of products in restaurant Linglam is relatively higher, although the GST is not implemented into the price. What does this mean? It means that restaurant Jinchuan's price, although implementation of GST occurred, is relatively reasonable and cheap at that particular area. Thirdly, control over the business. Mr. and Mrs. Chong, although they do not even study management courses, they carry out effective management skills on their business. they run the business personally, meaning that they will ensure that the business goes on track. If the business does not perform well, they will ensure that they carry out actions to rectify the problems immediately. For example, through their casual conversations with the customers, if the customers complain about the quality of food and the taste of food, they will immediately walk to the hawker and then they will tell them immediately to actually rectify the problem. This is to retain the loyalty and trust of their valued customers. Fourthly is the quality of products. Mr. Chong selects the quality of products before he actually purchases the raw materials. This is because, as Mr. Chong puts it, he would rather spend more money to buy quality products than to spend less money on something which has no quality at all. Moving on, advertisement. Although Mr. and Mrs. Chong does not carry out advertisement to promote their business, their customers do it for them. It means to say the customers do it by word of mouth, and then they actually introduce this business, this shop, to their friends and family if they find it satisfying to actually dine and eat their meals in this restaurant. And then last but not least is the effective use of premises. Although this business looks kind of good and it's running smoothly, however, Mr. Chong does not own the shop himself. He rents the shop for 13 long years. So as such, he has to distribute the burden of the rental payment per month with another business. That's why the Chinese restaurant which operates at night comes in. They actually distribute the burden of the monthly rental payment together. That's the first advantage. The second advantage is that by renting the shop to the Chinese restaurant at night, it actually increases their popularity. Because the other businesses, they do not operate their shop and their business at night. The shop is brightly lit, and as such, it attracts more and more customers to actually dine in the restaurant. And when they are dining inside, they actually knew the existence of the Chinese kopitiam in the morning. Therefore, it prompts them to come in the morning again to discover and then to see what's so good about this Chinese restaurant. Now, the obstacles faced by new businesses, as said by Mr. Chong, there are a few. First of all is customer loyalty. This, to him, is considered one of the biggest challenges he faced because when he started his business, nobody knew his existence. As such, it took him some time to actually strengthen the connections between him and the customers, to retain them and to ensure that they had loyalty towards his business. Secondly is passion and dedication. Mr. Chong puts it that this business does not have any annual or medical leaves or even public holidays. He has to work 24/7 with occasional breaks in between. As such, he asks, will the younger generation even have the patience and dedication to actually run a business like this kopitiam business for long hours without even resting? That's his main concern. Supply and demand. Supply and demand means that when Mr. Chong started his own business, he only had 5 hawker stalls in his shop. As such, he cannot cater for the needs of his customers because the variety of food present is very minimal. As such, the customers opt to actually visit the other shop, which is their main competitor restaurant Leng Lam. Finally, is uniqueness. Mr. Chong said that when he started his own business, he said that there was nothing unique about his business that attracts the customers to his shop. Therefore, the customers do not find anything interesting with his business, and so they opt for other businesses. Therefore, he said it is very crucial for new businesses who want to venture into the kopitiam market to find something unique about themselves. Something unique or uniqueness does not come in one day or two because Rome wasn't built in a day. Therefore, it takes experience and lots of hard work to actually develop what is something special to you.
Now I'm going to explain the competition strategies used by two restaurants. The first strategy used is about the quality of raw materials used. So according to the owner, Mr. Low, he purchased raw materials with better quality and taste to produce beverages and products which is high in standard, taste and quality. This ensures that the customers will revisit his shop over and over again. The second strategy used here is on the product itself. According to Mr. Low, he allows hawker stalls which already had wide popularity and recognition to be set up in his coffee shop. This strategy further improves the performance of their business as this hawker stall itself has already been long for years, and they have many customer loyalties, and they tend to attract new customers due to their popularity. The third strategy is on the pricing. Mr. Low observed and set the price for the beverages and the products according to the standard price of the market. He ensures that the price set is satisfied by the customers and is reasonable. The fourth strategy here is by promoting the business. Generally, the coffee shop is promoted by words through the mouth of its loyal customers. The customers who are satisfied with the products will inform their friends about the existence of this business. The obstacles faced by Mr. Low explained that the obstacles faced by new businesses will be mainly payments and fees. As he said that government officials tend to inspect his shop frequently, and they demanded huge amount of fees, including rubbish management fees and license fees. Although his location is in a strategic place, it is still obvious and exposed, and therefore they are prone to being targeted by the government officials. and as a result, they have to work harder to address this issue. And we can also conclude that new businesses, new local Chinese shop businesses may also encounter this issue, and a great deal of patience and experience is needed to overcome this issue.
Okay, now I'm Jilin, and now I'm going to talk about the nature of the market. So as you know, there is three types of nature: is the oligopoly, and the monopolistic, and the perfect competition for the market. So the nature of the market for the restaurant Jinchuan in Klang and the restaurant Hillview in Ipoh is perfect competition. Why they are considered as perfect competition is because the product, which is the hawker foods, are all similar in nature, so quite easily found by substitute in the market. So the perfect competition means that the price of the product is determined by the supply and the demand curve. So for example, if a shop increase the price of its product, so as a consumer, of course you will search for a better price at somewhere else, like cheaper price. That means that so how the business is begin, the business is taking over from the previous owner, and they have the same working hour, which is from morning to afternoon. Next, okay, now I'm going to talk about the difference. First is the surface area of premise. For the restaurant Jinchuan, right, there has about 134 meters square of premise, while for the restaurant Hillview has only 33 meters square of premise. Okay, next difference will be the location. So for the restaurant Jinchuan, it's located at a corner of a shop lot, and for the restaurant Hillview, it's located between the shops and with an alley beside the shop. So next will be the style of the coffee making. For the restaurant Jinchuan, they brew the coffee by hand making, while for the restaurant Hillview, they brew the coffee using the coffee machine. And next will be the future development. So for the restaurant Jinchuan, they said their children is unwilling to take over the business. So in the future, they decide to sold the business to another interest owner. But for the restaurant Hillview, right, his son is currently studying as a pastry chef. So his kopitiam maybe undergo a transition from a kopitiam to a bakery shop. Yeah. So next will be the number of staff who work under the owner. There is 4 people for the restaurant Jinchuan and only 2 for the restaurant Hillview. And next will be the total number of the staff, include the hawkers who works under under the shop. And for restaurant Jinchen, right, there is a lot of 40 people who works under the shop, and there is while for the restaurant Ipoh, right, there is only 8 people who works under the shop. Next will be the nationality of the staff. For the restaurant Jinchen, the nationality of the staff is mostly from foreign people, which is mostly from Indonesia. And for the restaurant Hillview in Ipoh, right, there are all local Chinese people. And next will be the number of hawker stores. There is 10 hawker stores in restaurant Jinchen, and there is only 4 hawker stores in restaurant Hillview. And moving on, the number of competitors, as my member just now said, there is 4 competitors for the restaurant Jinchen, and there is only 3 competitors for the restaurant Hillview. And the annual revenue figure for the restaurant Jinchen, right, they have the annual revenue figure is approximately 500,000 ringgit. And for the restaurant Hillview, their annual revenue figure is approximately 292,000 ringgit. And the estimate expenditure for the restaurant Jinchen is more than 500 per day, and for the restaurant Hillview in Ipoh, the estimate expenditure per day is between 600 to 700. Yeah. And lastly, the environment of the shop. Okay, based on our experience to the shop, and we found out that the restaurant Jinchen, right, is more cleaner. The lighting is bright, and they have good ventilation, and yeah, that's all. And so for the restaurant Hillview, right, the light is roomy and dark and a bit dirty and messy. Yeah. So now, between these two businesses, which business is more commercially successful? So the answer is the restaurant Jinchen. Why we say so? Because they have the higher annual revenue figure, and there's a lot of number of customers and have a variety of food. So the restaurant Jinchen, and as I say, they have 500,000 of revenue figure, annual revenue figure. Then after deduct all the expenses, they has about 380,000 of gross profit. But for the restaurant Hillview, and their annual revenue figure is 292,000. Then after deduct all the expenses, they only have 80,000 of gross profit only. So for the restaurant Jinchen, right, because they are friendly, so there are a lot of customers can come to the shop. So yeah, the customer will be approximately 1,000 people per day. And for the restaurant Hillview, right, they has only approximately 300 people per day visiting to the shop. So moreover, the restaurant Jinchen, because they have 10 hawker stores, right, so there has a variety of food for the customer to choose. In addition, the customer can able to select their food according to their preference. So this is what makes the restaurant Jinchen create more business opportunity compared to the restaurant Hillview. Thank you.
Okay, so the recommendations for Kopitiam Jinchen is, first of all, advertising. As they only advertise the shop through word of mouth, we suggest that they do their advertising online because it's free, quick, and it's able to reach a wider amount of audiences in a very short amount of time. Through online apps such as OpenRice and Foursquare, customers who are actually satisfied with their food and services can actually rate their services online so that more and more customers can see, and then they feel interested to actually come and visit the shop. Secondly, is hygiene. We suggest that although the hygiene in the shop is moderately okay, we suggest that all the hawkers actually wear plastic gloves to ensure that the process of preparing the food is maintained at a very clean level so that it provides confidence to the other customers as well.
Okay, so now I explain the recommendations for Hillview restaurant. Okay, the first recommendation would be the layout design of the coffee shop. Why? This recommendation is highly recommended due to various reasons. The first time when we step foot in this restaurant, the atmosphere, we discovered that the atmosphere is quite dull due to insufficient lighting, and therefore the owner should change or replace the old fluorescent lights to LED lights, so as it reduces the amount of electricity used and it provides greater lighting as well. And moreover, greater ventilation with sufficient fans should be included, so as to provide a cooler ventilation for a cooler environment for the coffee shop. And also, due to the lack of space for the customers to move around, the owner should plan the design or reposition the layouts of the coffee shop so as to enable his customers to move around freely. The next recommendation would be hygiene. During the course of our interview, the hygiene during the course of our interview, we observed that the environment of the coffee shop is also messy and unclean. So we can conclude that the owner did not clean his coffee shop frequently and sufficiently. So therefore, the owner should prepare a working cleaning schedule for workers so that they could clean it on a regular basis. And the owner himself could set a good example by cleaning with them diligently. The third and final recommendation would be his communicating skills or attitude. During the interview session, we also found out that the owner has lack of communication skills. His lack of communication skills. And therefore he should be outgoing and he should be outgoing and proactive towards his customers by portraying a friendly characteristic. And also, basic interactions such as friendly conversations should be applied by the owner so as to enable him to have stronger customer loyalty.
So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Rồi.